Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 58 of Let's Play European Results. Nope, fuck you. Tyranny. Let's just fucking continue on before I, want to jump off of a bridge. Fatebinder. I felt something indescribable pass through me just before your arrival. Emotions of great rage and pain, followed by a moment of lingering sorrow. I suspect something has been lost, and Tyranny itself strains at the absence. Ash winces and rubs his brow. But enough of my misgivings. They say the spired gulf glow is open to you. I hope you can appreciate the tactical advantage of such a place. The spires have stood empty for unknown centuries, and we can only begin to imagine what the whole potential they hold. Do not allow yourself to be swept up by the esteem and glory of this achievement. Were you a soldier of mine, I would temper your pride with modesty. Yeah, Karen is dead, Ash. The Icon of Stone, fallen. Ash turned his gaze out to iron heat off, settling on nothing. I thank you, Fatebinder. This was a long time coming. Karen's betrayal was inexcusable, and a death sentence from the lawful hand is no more or less what he deserved. No more or less than he deserved. What's more, you are commanded for resolving an edict of Kyros and putting down an Archon at once. He pulls at on the end of his beard and frowns. You don't sound too pleased about this. I do not always find war pleasing, especially in these dark days. When it is thrust upon me and former allies show their true colours, at times I want nothing more than to see home again, but even home has its memories. I would never have called the Archon of Stone a friend. Karen was a difficult man to know. Taciturn when removed, keeping to himself and as often as not. But we had much in common when you were an Archon. That is a quality you learn to cherish in others. So no, I am not pleased. I make no secret of it. I am sorrowful and cruel. Even though the Archon needed to die, that does not stop me from wishing it were otherwise. On to the next order of business. What happens to the Scarlet Chorus from here? The crops grow for our enemies will have withered on the vine. By now, the Archon's forces are clutching at their stomachs and tightening their belts as we starve them out. Ash stands tall and beams at the fort. Pyes received Ash's finery. The Stone Sea region is now controlled by the Disfavored. A fair reward for more than fair service to Legion. Ash nods with gratitude and hands you a heavy hammer wrapped in cloth. The Earthshakers and Forgebound conceived of this, and I cannot think of no wielder more deserving than you, Fatebinder. Fatebinder. Breathless, the officer snaps to attention. No time for pleasantries or ceremony. Your spire is under attack. The Scarlet Chorus have ramped up their offensive and they mean to topple your stronghold, with you atop it if need be. I feared something like this might happen, an act of desperation for the voice of Narat. He's either too much of a coward to attack Iron Heath or his forces are too weak. Either way, you'll need to answer this threat with blood. You've carried out your task with distinction, well done. My thanks, Fatebinder, best of luck at your spire. Dear Fatebinder Galeras, you ended an edict, and now you've ended an Archon. I know none in the court had such expectations for you when the Adjudicator initially brought you amongst us. So many surprises in such a short span. You fascinate. While he lived, Karen was a singular being, a titanic man born of the womb of Tyranny herself, to hear some tell it. While none still living can provide an account to that birth, you bore witness to his demise indeed. You precipitated it, whatever. I ask that you indulge my scholarly curiosity. What passed between you and the Archon of Stone in those final moments? Did the ground itself tear itself asunder as her white widow rends her garments? Did the mountains groan magnifique to their champion? Were there any final words from Karen, spoken or inscribed? Does this crystal that reportedly protrudes from the cliff faces throughout the Azura still glimmer, or is it darkened? I watch eagerly for your bird, famed by Regulus. I'm just going to describe the Blighted Land. How does one depict the death throes of a nation? In the Edict of Stone, Kyros consigned Karen to his doom, but in the ritual, the Earthshakers spread that execution across the entire region. Their life drained from the soil even as it faded from Karen's eyes. One could verily feel the stones trying to leech from my own life from me, as if I'd eaten stale bread when I had already thirsted for a flagon. We mark this place, and it may never recover. So these cunts have attacked my thing. Well, I mean, I do like to return kind for kind. Ash's finery is not even a fucking artifact. What the fuck, mate? Who gives a shit? If it's not like a fucking artifact, we're not going to use it. If you haven't noticed, why the fuck is Verse ahead of... There we go. That looks normal. Wait, is that... Yeah, that's... Wait. Yeah, that's right. I really want to get this fucking spire figured out. I'm trying to figure out where else here. It could be in Cacophony. That could be the problem. Ah, fuck it. I'll assume I have enough time. A man stands on the side of the road ahead. He flies no heraldry and makes no move to acknowledge you. He wears no armor, and if he's armed, his weapon is not visible. Avoid him. You leave the road past him out without nearing him. He never seems to notice your presence. You'll continue your journey. Greetings, fatebinder. The Iron Guard salute you with clattering salute. Our earthbound scouts alerted us to a chorus assault in your spire, and Lord Ash insisted we send aid at once. I assembled her. The massive sculpture rumbles, shaking the masonry of the spire and sending her off balance. Well, this is new. The orb in the center of the resonator spins with the push of some unseen force. Where the structure once exuded warmth, now it gives off a ferocious heat that singes your face the longer you stare into it. A sound like music swarms in the air around the structure, but it's painful and disharmonious to your ears. Barrack tries to... I'm not going to fuck it. Barrack tries to block his ears from the discordant music of the spire, but only succeeds in rattling his head under his helmet. It feels like Star Wars all over again. That sound, the edict of storms. He turns to you wearing a look of bewilderment. Don't you hear it? The power, his hands drop into his sides. It's all funneling into fatebinder. The act is acting like you're the eye of the great cyclone. The spire is now fully awake. Its long dormant currents of energy dance to your presence. Crouching to the ground to steady herself, Tyranny stays low to the ground until the trembling subsides. Feels like something is shaking the spire. The chorus can't pull off that sort of magic. When Kyros' name is going on. Yeah, you know, as the rule of this spire, I have a mystic link to this place. Give me a moment and I'll get to the bottom of this. I don't suppose this magical spire of yours has some warding magic or something like that of that ilk. She points down toward the chorus troops assembling below. Unshakable courage and superior training will only take us so far against that larger force. The spire resonates to my voice. I'll shout to the valley that I have an edict from Kyros. That should get them running. Considering the average intellect and cunning of our foe, I think such a feint would at least thin the crowd. Alright, let's use it. The mystic hum the spire pulses up to the cadence of your heart. The ancient structure awaits your command. I'm going to touch the edict and say, prepare yourselves, I have an edict to proclaim. As you touch the stone, your structure, your senses at the moment slows and you feel the entirety of the tears at your fingertips. The spire stands ready to channel your will. I'm going to use the Edict of Fire. The Edict of Fire brings energy of a fire to a large region of the world. This generates an incredible heat, sometimes flame, as well as strengthen the powers of magic. Well, this is cool. What in Graven Ash's name? The Iron Marshal turns about, taking the view in our direction. But Kyros didn't give an edict to read, so how did... I'm just going to glare silently. You did that. Her hand grasps for her chest, but only Kyros can cast edicts. I'm going to glare silently. Your voice carries the weight of the Overlord's magic. She drips into a bow. I should not have doubted you. The chorus have no idea what they've just walked into. The Iron Marshal smashes her gauntlets together with a quick chuckle. Binder, let us strike now. We must seize the moment and swing their panic into a rout. Hoisting her blade in hand, Erinus moves towards the exit. Fatebinder, I'll get the carnage started. Join me when you're ready, and we'll deal with whatever rabble remains. So I can cast edicts. Ha! Not gonna lie. That's pretty fucking cool. A gang of soot-stained scarlet chorus trails behind Deathnell, a mixture of awe and confusion resting upon their faces. Willing to burn your environment to ashes just to put us down? She nods with a grief-toothed grin. I almost like your style. She looks behind her to the hundreds of fleeing choirmen. Think I needed all those unwatched idiots? Just means that me and the top gangs get the best pickings. We'll be happy to lay you rest in this little funeral pyre you've built for yourself. She turns to a soldier and lets out a primal howl, her warriors echoing the battle cry in dissonant tones. Insufficient repetition. With rage in their eyes, the warriors ready their weapons, eager for a fight. Fools, did you not hear me? Actually, no, fuck that. Yeah, no, fuck it. Fools, did you not hear me proclaim that edict? Either I cast the edict by myself, or I did so with the Overlord's blessing. Think that through very carefully. Do not liken yourself to the Overlord. Your magic may have started my weaker troops, but your magic is nothing my own blood chances could not affect. Isn't that right? She looks to one of her mages with a nod of approval, but it's met instead with a blanched look of fear, mouth agape in terror. Enough talk. You will be trampled and forgotten. Only the voice of the rat will remember your name. But will he, though? Actually. Right, so we'll get the majority of these fuckers. There we go, we'll go there. I don't know what it is, but doing this spell with like two people, with two different casters really does make it bullshit in strength. You're not Deathnell, you don't even deserve to like...
Right.
Come on, Deathnell, die. Good Deathnell. You died as asked. You died as asked. Congratulations, you actually did something useful for a fucking change. My attacks have like a fire bonus to them. Fuck yeah.
On it.
Ooh, apparently there's a sage here. Gotta like sage, sage onion.
Will do.
You really did pick the wrong side to fight for there, mate. Muffled laughter comes from under Erinus' great helm. That's you. That's right, you filthy peasants. Runs for your lives. Tell Narat what you saw here. The chorus is in full retreat. Your edict's fire has caused a rout. I almost have to applaud the choirmen that had the guts to give us a proper fight. I almost wish there were a few more. My sword arm was just getting warmed up. Leave the cleanup to me and my brethren. You should take your rightful place perched atop the spire. No better way to savor the victory than with a commanding view of your enemy fleeing across the valley.
I got it.
Crimson Great Spear. Well, if you don't mind me, I'm going to get some loot because, you know, I earned it. Because I own this place, so... Although I can't get out front, so that's upsetting. Well, we're back into my fortress. Shocked and demoralized by your display of power and the ease which you dispatch their leader, the Scarlet Chorus fighters lose their nerve and scatter in defeat. The survivors carry with them fearful murmurs of the powerful Archon Galerius, a being of enormous magical might who can cast an edict with the same authority as the Overlord. Confusion sets in across the realm. Amid the whispers and misinformation, one fact remains consistent. The Overlord's power has been challenged. You safely assume that such rumors are making their way back to Kyros. Sweat stings your eyes. The fire edict bathes your spire in oppressive heat. Its weight felt everywhere in the valley. Slowly the temperature wanes, turning the nearly unbearable to an almost tolerable. Over the next few days, the extreme heat eventually dissipates. Your edict ends, releasing Vengeance Well from its molten grasp. You gather a small council of your closest allies and plan your next steps from the safety of your spires. No sooner do you get started than Callio, fatebinder of Tunon, pays you a visit bearing an important message. I keep hearing about this little spy you've been calling your own. Nodding with a smirk, fatebinder Callio peers over the edge of the tower. Now that you've slaughtered those who would take your lands, I think your claim is as official as it gets. Let me guess, you're here to investigate just what just happened. Naturally, she nods with a smile. Tunon expects me to give a full report, but today I came bearing an important message. Not an edict, but commandments from the mouth of the Overlord all the same. No one's entirely sure what to make of you these days, Galerius. They all say you spoke an edict of fire, not proclamation of an edict of Kyros, but your own edict of fire, your own mystic conflagration. You're no mere fatebinder. Of that much we can be certain. You've proclaimed and broken the Overlord edict perhaps one too many times. If I'd known you could do this when I first met you, I'd maybe have tried in earnest to kill you. I hope for the sake of Tyranny that you're the right person has inherited this gift. I don't know what to make of you, fatebinder, proclaiming and breaking the Overlord's magic, claiming these awful towers. It should come to no surprise that an edict is within your grasp, but I still find room for surprise. You're powerful in the ways that gang bosses and mages aren't. You command this place to do your bidding, and unleashed something incredible on the world. That isn't the work of a fatebinder. If anything, it's the work of an Archon. Beastmen will follow Alpha from here to ends of Tears lands and farther still, while poor prowls deep into the cold north, hunting armies of Kyros at Alpha's side. Together, Shadowhunter and Alpha will slaughter the whole of Primus' tribe. I don't have any idea how you're able to do this, but it isn't power that any scholar can wield. This is something else. You're not some ambitious hedge mage who learned it out of a book. You're more like an Archon, where it just comes naturally. She shakes her head with a grin. I always knew you'd be a delightful bit of trouble, but I didn't think you'd had a touch of the Overlord's power in you. Why don't you tell me? You know, I genuinely didn't know I had it in me. You didn't know if it would work, and you decided to play with the arcane equivalent of a mountain tipping over. My confidence in you swells, fatebinder. It's only natural to have doubted yourself. The edicts have always been the magic of Kyros and Kyros alone. Anyone proclaiming to be able to cast an edict would be presumed crazy, and yet a sane man watching what you just did would see the power of the Overlord in your voice. Curious, she taps her chin and forward, looking at you head to toe. Suppose you've no reason to play the fool. I'll say that, however, it is you who came to this power. I know that you've drawn the attention of the Overlord, so congratulations, I think. I come bearing orders direct from the Overlord. Callio clears her throat, her voice booming, becoming somber and severe. Kyros decreed two things. First, the Overlord has demanded that one and only one Archon is fit to rule the Tears. To that end, the Archon are to be settled through death or dominance, who is the one Archon fit to inherit the Tears. And the second decree? Kyros decreed you are the newest Archon. Fatebinder Callio bows with an exaggerated flourish. So the other Archons now have orders to control or destroy you, and the other way around. Her face becomes a beaming smile. See? This is why I try to avoid getting Kyros' attention. And to be clear, this is a command from Kyros, but not an edict. Correct, there's no edict breaking this order, back in this order. She smiles a tooth grin. Such encouragement hardly seems necessary when the task is its own reward. The Overlord has merely rescinded Kyros' peace. The Archons may kill and maim each other without breaking any laws. Kyros knows, rightly so, that enmities, new and old, will drive the Archons to mutual destruction. The Overlord needs only to remove the pretense of peace and watch the ensuing violence. Callio shrugs with a smile. Would you have preferred another do-or-die edict? I don't know how Galeris would play this one. Yeah, you know, what of the court? Have you heard what Tunon and Bleeding Mark think of this? As per usual, Tunon has the emotional range of opponents, but Bleeding Mark seemed almost giddy. I think the old shadow is already putting names on his daggers. I was wondering if Bleeding Mark would hear this order and promptly stab Tunon, but no. It would seem the Archon of Shadow is happy to serve Tunon. Makes sense. I've never known the old shadow to crave that kind of power. She clears her throat, her voice growing somber. You'll have to deal with them too. And I fear greatly how that will turn out. I imagine Tunon is too loyal to bow to you, and Bleeding Mark too proud to accept you as his better. She nods quietly for a long moment. There is no way this ends well for some of us. Thank you for delivering the message. That will be all. First step is deciding you won't bow to the other Archons. She offers a smug nod. I wish you the best of luck in your upcoming struggle. Know that when you come for Bleeding Mark and Tunon, I and the other Fatebinders won't interfere. A question me and the other binders have been asking. Can you do this again? No rival believes in you. Another who shall remain nameless takes the more cynical stance that the Overlord has a hand so far up your ass you can puppet your mouth, and you couldn't cast a second edict if you tried. She sizes up your head up head to toe. Me? I think you have it in you. Or at least I'd like the idea of proclaiming an edict of yours someday. I have something in... Actually, now you mention it. Well, I don't know. Now you mention it, curiosity demands we try having you proclaim an edict of mine. Are you... Her hand darts in front of her mouth. Serious? You'd let me do that? Take the dictation, please. Quill in hand, before you finish your request, Lantry reaches for his boldest red inks. You meant to say, Lantry, please record my second edict for all time and memory, right? Gladly. First things first, we'll deal with these. Address the proclamation against the Stone Sea and the Chorus headquarter cacophony. You write your words, deliberate, with graceful penmanship. Proclaim an edict of stone. No, storms. With the edict complete, Callio approaches the edge of the spire. With as much production as her voice can muster, she reads it aloud your edict. And nothing happens. Callio slumps her shoulder with a disappointed whimper. And it was worth a try. But your power most certainly works when you use your own voice, so we at least know that your voice is an essential part of invoking your powers. Or at least, so far. I would imagine Kyros spoke a great number of edicts before learning how to write them down for others to proclaim. In truth, I'm a bit relieved. While I relish the thought of being your harbinger of non-negotiable death, I'm not sure being the conduit for such arcane forces is something I should be taking so lightly. Then again, perhaps your post-proclamations are part of what set the seed of this power in you. She taps her chin in thought. Anyway, it is an honor to be part of the experiment. She rolls the parchment proclamation into her satchel. I say we try this again some other day. Learn more about what you can do with your power, and someday I'll be your herald of doom. It'll be a date. With a nod, Callio begins to make her way to the exit. When you rule Terratus, look me up. If you're successful, I know I'll be in need of a new Archon to serve. I know I'm mostly sober, but just so we're clear, you did just issue an edict, right? Lantry taps his quill onto his tongue, unsure what to write. First you cast an edict, then this full-on war of Archons. This whole chapter of the Chronicle is reading like fiction. So Kyros has ordered all the Archons to fight it out until the strongest remains. I think we can safely say that the Scarlet Chorus philosophy has been vindicated. A rumbling mutter stirs from under Beric's helmet, devoid of any cogent words. Alpha birthed her own words of power like human's primer called Kyros. Is better mystic than broodmother to kills in shadow, than stone stalkers to 100 blood, than beastwoman Archon slaughtered by mark of shadows. She snorts and grins savagely. Kills in shadow knew Alpha was the most powerful human in whole of Tearsland. A curved claw taps the side of her snout. Knows was not wrong. One last thing, hesitating before she leaves. Calio taps the parchment she had been holding to her forehead with a self-deprecating scoff. Well, let's talk of being the second coming of the Overlord, and I almost forgot my duties. This is a call summoned from Bled and Mark, Tunon's assassin. I suggest you read it carefully as a part of your preparations. Your survival may depend on it. Good luck, Archon. Archon, we must speak before this goes any further. Goes further than it already has. I know you've already got a thing or two up your plate, but if you could make some time for me, a little bird has brought me some interesting news, and I'd hate to have to go stabbing people without you. For fuck's sake, I just want to end the part. Fatebinder, Archon, the great general, has pulled his troops back to Iron Hearth. She grinds her knuckles into her palm. Soon we make our final push to the Stone Sea in the heart of the Scarlet Chorus power. The voice of the Narat is weak, and the path to cacophony is clear. She adopts a more cautious tone. The Archon is also aware of what happened at Adventure as well. I'm sure he wants to discuss the matter in person. I'll consider the request. I wouldn't spend too long considering. You've demonstrated incredible power, and this is a time for action. I'll send Ash a bird so he knows what to expect you later, if not right away. Take care how you treat with General Graven Ash. You're no mere fatebinder any longer. You'll meet with him as Archon to Archon, and such things are more complicated. Good luck. Well, ladies and gentlemen, shit's fucking hit the fan like a freight train. So I'll see you guys in the next part. See you guys then.